Welcome to Gen.G versus FlyQuest. Spoilers for that match if you haven't seen it yet. The most important thing that happened, obviously, FlyQuest NA taking 2 games off Gen.G. No one saw that coming. Amazing that a North American team could take 2 games off of what many people consider the best team in the world this year. So let's hop into that. Also, my semifinals pick'em video just released. Make sure you watch that one. Okay, here in game 1, Inspire doing really well on the Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao is just a super high damage champ if you can actually get on top of people, and Gen.G just really underestimating that. So flash engage from the Alistar, and then once the Xin Zhao gets on you, just a ton of damage comes out. Great fight from FlyQuest here. Gen.G just really underestimating FlyQuest. And when I say Xin does a lot of damage, I mean he does a lot of damage. So here, Lehens tries to go in, quad with the nice ultimate behind him because he knows Leona's going to end up behind him. So Leona gets charmed up, and when Xin is right next to you, look at that damage. Crazy. Xin damage. Plus Galio coming in. So Fly just playing better in this game. Gen.G way too aggressive, think they can just bully Fly around. They're not playing with the typical caution and respect that they usually have. So here Leona walks up, gets jumped on by FlyQuest over the wall. And there's something I'm missing because so many times this tournament I'm like, Rumble equalizer at some point. Equalizer here maybe across the wall even. Rumble equalizer. Don't let your entire team die before dropping the equalizer. Rumble, how about an equalizer like here to stop them from engaging? How about here, Rumble equalizer? And then right before Rumble dies, when the fight's already over, drops the equalizer. Maybe pro Rumble players know something I don't, but I'm guessing they're just waiting for like the perfect equalizer, but then, you know, a lot of fights that just doesn't come. And then here, Fly chase them perfectly into this corridor where Bwipo's on the other side. Just a perfect sandwich. And then Canyon ends up sacrificing himself to save Pays, but it would have actually been better for Canyon to just let Pays die because when the jungler dies at 24 minutes, the other team can go fight the Baron. So bad idea from Canyon there. So FlyQuest get the Baron, but they're still only 2.5k gold up, and it's not uncommon for Gen.G to run a little behind in gold and make it up in a big team fight. So Gen.G still have a chance to come back in this game. They don't want to give over this Mountain Soul, but Canyon really doesn't want to like go in deep for the 50-50. He just kind of stays on the periphery here, and they're just all throwing all their damage down onto Bwipo, who's tank Galio, 4,000 health. Chovy's throwing REQs into a 500 magic damage shield. They're just wasting all of their cooldowns on Bwipo, and the Drake goes over. This is a 4v5 pretty much because Keen's not even in the fight. And basically, Gen.G needs to get a kill to turn Jinx on, but everyone on Fly is too tanky. Who are you going to get a kill on? Alistar, Xin Zhao, Ultimate, the tank Galio? At the same time, Keen is a total madman. I think he drops the equalizer, and then I think he's trying to steal the dragon, which doesn't make any sense because the FlyQuest jungler is right there. He's going to lose that every time, and he just totally abandons his team, doesn't do anything. He's just sitting in the corner doing nothing. And by the time he actually gets to the fight, 2 of his allies are almost dead. So just bizarre macro call from Keen there to try to steal the dragon away from a jungler. So Gen.G super sloppy that game. You can definitely argue that Gen.G deserved to lose this game and FlyQuest really deserved to win that game. Game 2 is not going super well for FlyQuest because Gen.G actually have a gold lead, and that's good when you have a Kassadin because usually the early game is his weakest spot. They try to punish the Kassadin, really good attempt here, but he gets the buffer R away, which builds the distance, and then Nunu, just really fragile at this point, can only take 2 tower shots. And then Chovy had built the null magic mantle, and he gets the magic shield on the Kassadin. So against 2 AP champs, has just enough to live. And Nunu, so fragile, dies on the 3rd turret shot. So after that, Kassadin, you know, is ahead of his lane opponent, and the whole team is ahead. It's going to be hard for FlyQuest to win this game against Kassadin. Here again, Inspired overestimating his tankiness. He just has the redemption. And so when he dives here, he gets melted way faster than he thinks. He ends up having to run out of his own redemption to live, and he still dies anyway. So just a little too much there from Inspired. Really dominate FlyQuest in this game too. Gen.G, not always early game kings. Eyes on Pays here. He's going to get a little overconfident. Thinks he can E-kill the Urgot here. And he's at least 2 or 3 autos away still. So Pays just way overestimating how much damage he does to an Urgot at those low levels. And here I think we really see some of the best FlyQuest play we've seen all tournament. Quad sidesteps that Silas, flashes out of 3 people chasing him, and then FlyQuest totally fearless to restart this engage. Busio on the Rakan. Quad looks super good on this Zeri. Inspired just jumps into 4, like against the best team in the world. It's great to see FlyQuest play so confidently, gets the suppression back. Masu doing really well on this Kaisa. Having Quad and Masu both on high damage carries, really working for this team. And here they could back up. Many teams would back up, but FlyQuest is feeling themselves. Masu keeps going for the kill. Are in. But here Gen.G kind of comes for all. Even if you can get a small lead, when those late game team fights come around, they're really the best in the business here. And then beautiful TP flank here to just totally sandwich FlyQuest. Inspired gets the suppression, but he's not really pulling them to anything. And so there's an argument that Gen.G is playing just as well as FlyQuest this game, if not better. They make one tiny mistake here, over chasing into this Skarner, and they all turn onto Lehens all of a sudden, and great focus fire out of FlyQuest. Then they're super aggressive again. FlyQuest, no fear, and they just keep diving in. Masu getting so much damage down. He's 7-0 on the Kaisa now. And because of that one mistake, FlyQuest get the Baron. They get like 3 towers, and they're 6k gold up, and the game's over. No matter how much better you think Gen.G is than Fly, it's totally unreasonable to expect them to win the game now, being 6k gold down on FlyQuest at 29 minutes. That one tiny mistake over chasing cost them 6k gold. So this is just one of those things in League where you can't always tell how much of an impact any one fight will have. And it happened that the one fight that Gen.G took really bad happened to be the one that was worth 6k gold. And so I think you could argue that even though Gen.G loses this game, that they played as well or even better than FlyQuest on average, just not in that one moment where all the chips were really on the line. Case in point, watch this fight with Gen.G 7.3k gold down. You have this amazing flash stolen Skarner ult from Chovy. And then you have this amazing Keen diving in on Masu. Masu has to use the cleanse, the R, and the flash just to survive. And FlyQuest died over here. This is with Gen.G at a 7k gold deficit. If they hadn't lost 7k gold off of that one slip up, they likely would have won this game, right? This game 4, much more like game 2, where Gen.G is just stomping them. They're 4.5k gold up, even though the kills are only 2 apart at 22 minutes. It means Gen.G is just playing every part of the map better, macroing way better than FlyQuest. So by this point in the game, FlyQuest is going to lose almost every fight. You can see how unkillable Keen is on this Cassante when the team is 5k gold up. They're all going after the Cassante, but Cassante was made for this, stalling out when everyone's trying to kill him. So no problem here. Keen can do this all day long. Not scared of anything. At this fight, you just get the sense that FlyQuest is never going to win a fight again if they can't do anything to one Cassante in a 3v1. So similar to game 2, very dominating game of Gen.G over FlyQuest, not particularly close. Here in game 5, FlyQuest picking a lot of fun champs, Set, Fiddlesticks, and they're actually even in gold at 21 minutes, which you would think is okay, except Gen.G has Smolder. By the time that this first important fight of the game happens, Smolder's already at 200 stacks. Then FlyQuest, even though they're even, feels the need to try this sneaky Baron play. So there's just the 3 of them on Baron, but Gen.G sniff it out, and instead of backing up here, FlyQuest think that they can still burn it down in time. They are very mistaken, because Keen gets there with still 4,000 health on the Baron, and you can see great focus from Keen going right onto Inspired, right on the jungler, saying no smite for you, sir. Spend every cooldown, every flash to make sure that jungler is dead. And then Gen.G can just take the Baron for themselves. So when you go for that Baron sneak play, it's so risky because not only are you wasting time if you don't get the Baron, but they can actually come in and get the Baron. And now they were already probably going to win because their Smolder had scaled so much uncontested. Now they're way up, and FlyQuest kind of loses it all in an instant. FlyQuest know that they're running out of time, so they're just throwing everything they can all in on these fights, which is the best thing they can do at this point. They try their best, and they definitely don't go out without a fight, but Gen.G is just way too far ahead. Smolder is 225 stacks. He's smoldering everybody. Nothing FlyQuest can really do at this point. So kind of an odd series because FlyQuest had some really brilliant moments, really great showing from FlyQuest overall, winning 2 games. They used a bunch of crazy picks. They used kind of all the tricks in the book. They really did everything they could do to beat Gen.G, and a lot of it worked. So we really couldn't ask anything more from FlyQuest. Now, did any of this prove that Gen.G is weak at all? I don't really think so. It just shows that FlyQuest had some really great tricks and some really great plays. The one exception is that I think Gen.G did have a really bad game 1, which to me brings their average down from S tier to the top of A tier. I think they're still slightly better than T1 on average, but that game 1 from Gen.G was pretty bad. Probably worse than anything we saw from T1 in their quarterfinals match. We have to say goodbye to FlyQuest, and I think that this is where we are going into semifinals. 2 teams in A that I think are really close together, slight edge for Gen.G, and then I think a decent gap. And then BLG and Weibo, I think, are actually quite close together because I thought that Weibo showing against LNG was their strongest so far this tournament. So both of these semifinal matches, I think, are going to be really exciting. If you haven't seen my semifinals pick'em, watch that video right now. I think you're really going to love it. Can't wait to see these semifinal matches. Please subscribe if you like the content. YouTube really cares about that subscriber number. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next match.